We are killing our film industry, says Amake Abrebrese when she showed up on UTV's show, Entertainment Showbiz, to talk about particularly copyright infringement that is harboring or affecting the Ghanaian film industry. And this will be delving more into what she said and perhaps see how best things are being done to correct the challenges that are being faced in the industry. And also moving from one struggling industry to another, company that is helping bring diversity of animated films, particularly to the Western market, is GKids, who have acquired four titles at the Annecy Film Festival in France. So, this and more is what I bring to you on this episode of the Film Mandate. I am Papa Otu. Stay tuned. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Film Mandate, where I bring to you film reviews, news, and reactions both from the African front and the international scene. Thank you so much for joining me for this very episode. So, we'll be delving right into the first story. And over the weekend, Amake Abrebrese, veteran actress and TV personality, was on UTV, United Showbiz, to, be part of the panelists. And then she spoke about the issue of copyright infringement affecting the film industry, to be specific. And this has to do with the number of TV stations that are in Ghana that keep showing films on our television screens without the requisite permission from the copyright holders of these films or producers. And that has been an issue that, for her in particular, she's been dealing with since 2012, when she was actually a production manager at then a TV station called Viasat One, where she stated that for her, for the TV station she was working with at the time, she remembered how she had to work hard to be able to acquire the rights of Harry Potter to be able to show on the TV screens. And it is indeed a challenge where now you, as an individual that is trying to help make that possible for audiences to watch international titles like Harry Potter and other TV stations, are not really pushing to get that happen. And she stated a challenge she faced, particularly when she starred in the movie The Burial of Kojo. And then, after a month later, that it has been released on Netflix, a TV station was showing it without the necessary permission. And in pursuing it to ensure that it is resolved, it met a roadblock as the individual in charge, the production manager in charge of the TV station, wouldn't even want to return her calls. So I would like us to delve into, this story. There is an article that published on in the Ghana Web that spoke about the challenge she faced in particular. So I'd like to bring it up, and then yeah, we read it. So in Ghana Web, it says that we are killing our own movie industry. Amake Abrebrese laments over copyright infringements. Renowned Ghanaian filmmaker Amake Abrebrese has lamented the persistent copyright infringements of movies, specifically Ghanaian movies, by local television stations, describing it as a major threat to the growth of the country's film industry. Speaking on UTV's United Showbiz on June 14th, 2025, Amma recounted a personal experience involving her film, The Burial of Kojo, which premiered on Netflix on March 31st, 2019. Just a month later, on April 30th, she discovered a local TV station airing the movie without authorization. I don't know where this TV station was. I remember we hadn't even been paid by Netflix for the film. It was a struggle to make that film. We couldn't find investors, so we resorted to Kickstarter. Then a TV station showed it without permission, and we actually contacted the TV station, and the person we contacted started playing dumb. He even blocked my number, she said. She also recounted her past experience as head of productions at Viasat One, narrating how they legally acquired film rights for the Hollywood movie Harry Potter, only for rival TV stations to show the movie without any authorization. This is something I've been dealing with since 2012. Nothing has been done. People feel like they can do whatever they want because they know someone in power, she said in frustration. She also criticized the lack of seriousness with which the arts are treated in Ghana. I feel like in Ghana, the arts are really not taken seriously, especially by our lawmakers. They see it as just entertainment, she added. Amma warned that unless decisive action is taken to clamp down on piracy and enforce copyright laws, the film industry will continue to suffer. People say that the Ghanaian film movie industry is dead, and it's not going anywhere. But when people have been investing their own money, not only are you not supporting them, but you are killing the industry by pirating it. We are our own worst enemies. So until something is done, we will talk about it every 2 or 3 months and they'll keep doing it, she said. So this is an article that was, I mean, published on the June 15th from the June 14th show on United Showbiz. And it is a challenge because the problem we are facing have been persistent for a long time. I even believe way beyond 2012. And for this particular episode I'm doing, I would even want to make it as an appeal to TV stations who may chance upon this or lawmakers who may chance upon this content. I'm making it as an appeal because a lot have been said, harsh words have been exchanged, have been altered by producers, which I understand perfectly because they have invested their own money, just as Abrebrese has said, and their hard-earned money to make that a possibility. And so for for them to invest in these productions and then in just some few months when they or weeks that they have released in or whatever platform that is, or even in theaters, for it to be aired freely by a TV station without copyright, the legal acquisition of the copyright, it becomes a challenge. So I'm approaching it from a different angle. Let's take a look at a number of actors who end up sick without the necessary support to help them in whatever challenges they are facing. Not just sick, some are destitute. Producers go broke. They go so broke that they are not able to come back to make new films. And at the end of it all, these same TV stations will turn around and report the dilemma these actors find themselves in. A number of actors in Ghana at the point in time in their lives, they had nothing. They were on sick beds. They had nothing to their name, and they were on sick beds appealing for funds. These are actors who, if I'm not mistaken, have starred in over 50 movies. And not just actors, award-winning actors. Award-winning actors with whose name are household names in Ghana, Nigeria, and more. And they had nothing to their names. All because copyright infringement is taken for granted in the country. It's taken for granted in the country, and yet we turn around as a people or as media houses and report the very dilemma perhaps we have contributed to. I'm not laying any blame to any particular TV station or any particular individual whatsoever, but we all are at fault if at the end of the day the producers of these films are not making the requisite funds to help support their livelihood. And we hail them, we are excited to see them on our screens. Yet it looks like we are not in support or we are not supporting their craft. And that is a challenge. That is a challenge. Just a couple of, I think, episodes ago, I did a story on Bimbo, one Nigerian content maker who complained bitterly about her films. And there were various reactions to her complaints. But on the larger note, regardless of whatever place you stand, films are people's IP property. They are intellectual properties for producers, and without their consent, you cannot air it anywhere. Without their consent, commercially, you cannot air it anywhere commercially. You need their requisite rights and permission to get that done. And decades down the line, just as Amaki Abrebrese is saying, we are always complaining about it every 2 3 months, and nothing is being done. And for lack, I don't know whether it's for lack of understanding that this business is not just entertainment. It is indeed business. It is indeed business. And to even expand the issue, let me just read an excerpt from an article that I saw or research that I saw online, and this has to number analytics. It says that the consequences of media piracy, which involves the unauthorized reproduction, distribution, or exhibition of copyright content, has far-reaching consequences. Let me just move straight to the financial losses, and it says that financial losses due to copyright infringements. The financial impact of copyright infringements is substantial. According to a report by the International Chamber of Commerce (ICC), the global economy loses between $29.2 billion and $71 billion annually due to counterfeiting and piracy. And this is how staggering the numbers are when we are talking about copyright infringement globally. And even if you go to other sites, they say that these numbers are not really the scope of the challenge we are faced with is not even properly quantifiable. So it means that the creative industry is even losing more money than the 71 or $72 billion being recorded in this very article, and that is a far-reaching problem. It is a far-reaching problem. It is not just a local issue, but it is a global issue that we are faced with, and needs the proper dialogue for all stakeholders to make that happen. Can you imagine that at the end of every year, this amount of money is being raked into the coffers of the country to help the global industry? One of the industries that creates a great amount of jobs for any other country is the film industry. It creates so much jobs for people all over, and yet the amount needed to support them, support these filmmakers, support these craftsmen, are not made available because they are all lost to copyright infringement. And this issue has to be dealt with one way or the other. It has to be dealt with one way or the other. So I indeed can understand Amake Abrebrese, particularly when your film has been released. I mean, the film directed by Blitz Bazawule was released online and already was released on Netflix, and a month later it was being aired on TV. I remember when I was doing a story with about John Appiah, um, Dr. John Appiah, who starred in Home Sweet Home series and Run Baby Run movie. He spoke about how when they premiered their film Run Baby Run in Kumasi, the following day someone was selling it on DVD in traffic. I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling, and this issue, we must find an antidote to it. Otherwise, there's going to come a time all we'll find on our screens are the telenovelas and foreign films, and yet we will not be able to tell our own stories as we should. As we should. We enjoy the cultural export of Nigerian films and other films into our country, but we always complain that we are not telling certain stories just because all stakeholders involved are not really putting their shoulders to the wheel properly to get these issues resolved. Without the necessary finances, producers won't be able to make the movies we want. Actors and crew members won't be paid adequately enough to support their craft, to keep them bringing us the content we so much love. Something has to be done about it, and it has to be done about it now. So yeah, this is my first story. It's not really a pleasant story to be hearing for today, but I hope there will be a solution to it. So moving on from one story to another exciting one, the Annecy Film Festival was held recently, and in the in this festival, the animation films are actually premiere. It's actually a festival for animation films. And one exciting news is that GKids, one film company, film distribution and television film distribution, and also they distribute television content, have acquired four titles. And when I'm talking about four titles, I'm talking about four animation titles from particularly Asia for the European and the American markets, and it's really, really exciting. So this was published in an article in the Wrap, and it says that GKids celebrates its most ambitious Annecy yet, with four acquisition titles and three films in competition. There's also the 4K restoration of the cult classic Angel's Egg. And I read GKids, a global leader in acquiring and maintaining one of the greatest, most acclaimed animation libraries, had a banner year at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. The company acquired four films out of the festival: All You Need Is Scale, Another World, Chow, and Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain. This is on top of films that were presented at the festival that were co-produced by GKids, 100 Meters, Allah Is Not Obliged, and Sunny. There was also a 4K restoration of the cult classic Angel's Egg from 1985, written and directed by Mamoru Oshii. The collected titles are a testament to the company's unyielding commitment to the animated art form, according to an official release. As GKids has evolved, our mission has remained the same: to champion the best animation form from around the world from the most exciting talent. We are proud to have that mission illustrated at this year's Annecy, said Rodney Ula, GKids Director of Acquisitions and Development, in a Friday statement. While these films are each unique works of art, they give us hope that the broader animation landscape is as vibrant as ever. A GKids film is an intimate, emotional friend germ, and action-packed futuristic epic from Japan, an imaginative world from emerging talent in Hong Kong, and everything in between. We are thrilled these titles can be showcased at this festival, and look forward to bringing them to audiences in the future. In the future. So let me read the rest. The scope of project is what is truly amazing. Everything from the gently surreal drama of Little Amelie or the character of Rain to sports drama 100 meters to the post-apocalyptic alien invasion of all you need is kill, and everything in between. Then there's Angel's Egg from the creator of Ghost in the Shell, which is being restored 40 years after its initial release. Also, Chow is set in a futuristic world where humans and mermaids coexist. So think about that for a minute. So it is indeed exciting to have a company like GKids bring to us stories that otherwise would be confined to the continent or countries that they were made in. And I'm really excited about what the GKids are doing. They are bringing to us certain titles that ordinarily would not travel to places like Africa or to the world, the European, the Western world in general. And such is needed, as particularly for the art form of animation, particularly for the art form of animation. And the last traditional, let me put it out with the last traditional animated film that Disney did was Princess and the Frog, and that is over a decade ago. And they've switched entirely to the 3D animation, and so has so many other commercial studios in the world. I mean, they've done. So it is indeed a challenge for us because this animated art form I would even say dates way back, even sometimes um, way back. You know, you're talking about decades ago. It's even believed that if you take into consideration certain animated art forms that may not be so mainstream, um, which may I would say we're not in the medium of film in particular. Animation may even date way back before the feature film or live action films came about. You have the zoetrope, which happened to be a device that incorporated animation, that is individual frames, and then by spinning the zoetrope with the light passing through, projected on the surface, you see this image is moving. You know, the illusion of the image, the individual image is moving, and that has even become the basis of which even live action films, that is the persistence of vision, as you would call it, a principle that helps us to perceive individual images to move and to be seen to be moving. And that is even what the technology of the film, the celluloid film, actually happens to be like. And the animated art form commercially actually doesn't it's not as voluminous as it should be. So you have a lot of live action films, I mean, all year round produced in volumes. But when it comes to the animated films, it's not as much produced, or even commercially in the in the mainstream industry as it should be. So, GKids as a distribution company is really doing a good job to help preserve these art form. And I'm even excited about the fact that they have a library dedicated to that, acquiring all the rights in terms of making sure that they have the necessary legal backing to help distribute these films, both in the theater and also in terms of media distribution of those films. And that is really supporting the animated or the animation film industry. And for those who may not be aware, GKids actually help bring into mainstream certain films that ordinarily been would not have been. Let me see if I can pull up. Yeah, so um GKids help distribute particularly one of the most amazing studio in the world when it comes to animation films and or animated films, and that is Studio Ghibli's films. So in time past, Walt Disney owned the rights to the distribution rights to the media for Studio Ghibli, and in time it transitioned to GKids, who is bent on making sure the animated art form is maintained. And for those who do not know, they helped bring into the mainstream to win. awards, two animated films. And this films is the it was actually, so they received two more best animated feature nominations as the 84th Academy Awards. So that is what they did. Actually, they received two nominations for it, and we are talking about the Spanish language Chico and Rita, and the French language A Cat in Paris. Both nominations were considered highly, during this film by film insiders. And there's something that usually doesn't happen. Most of these animated films would have been buried without the light of day, or I would say would have been confined to the culture in which they were produced in, and not travel to be seen and enjoyed by audiences from all over the world. So they are doing some, I would say they are doing the Lord's work, because animated films are such that it's expensive to produce and it involves a lot of people. If you ever watch any of the Walt Disney uh, 2D animated films, when the credits are rolling, it rolls for more than 5 minutes. It keeps just rolling for more than 5 minutes. And even with the 5 minutes, you don't even have the time to go through the list of thousands of names that are showcased after the film ends. So it is indeed something worth supporting, and I'm happy that there is a company, doing all the best to preserve the art form of animation. And indeed, I'm excited that Annecy Film Festival, International Animation Film Festival, is also pioneering this art form, trying to make sure that animation or animators will get a place to always showcase their art, when perhaps the mainstream, they may not find a place to do so. And that is indeed exciting. So I'm happy about what GKids is doing. And even this year, I remember seeing in on Mills Media, the producers of Guardians were I think they entered into this festival and they were selected. So they embarked on a journey to Annecy Film Festival to participate with their film, The Guardians, which is, I think, I watched two episodes of that series, and they are there. So without some of these opportunities available, films like one from our own, Mills, won't Sunkwa Mills won't have the opportunity to travel far and wide the world over. So this Annecy Film Festival is sorry, Annecy International Animation Film Festival is indeed necessary to help showcase the talent of roster of films that we have in terms of animation. So GKids and Annecy are doing something great, and I'm hoping they are able to continue in that area avenue. So this sums up my two stories for the day, and I hope you took one thing from it, that whilst one industry is not supporting, the film industry by making sure it is acquiring the necessary legal rights to help filmmakers, another country is doing that, and we need to learn from that, because we are losing money that is worth keeping to help sustain the creative industry. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Film Mandate. I am Papa Utu, and I'll come your way tomorrow with some exciting stories as well. See you soon.